Welcome back guys to a deck I've been waiting to showcase for a while. Buster Blader has been one of my favorite cards since its introduction so long ago, and while the support has been out for years as well, it didn't really have the impact I would have liked. The deck mostly resorts to being an engine revolving around a trap to get out the floodgate combo involving the Theme Buster Dragon and the Fusion Buster Blader. The reason I decided to revisit the deck now is because of the synergy with Bystials and then the new addition of the Metal Morph support. Black Metal Dragon is a 1-card combo into a Hierotic Seal bounce, leading into Druid's Worm being tributed for full metal. That's a total of 3 disruptions before even considering the potential of having the Buster Blader trap. This works out because all you need for the trap to pop off is a dragon in the graveyard as a fusion material. Since we have quite a few cards we don't want to see in our hand, again the ideal deck number would go over 40 cards. Another added benefit to the combo with Buster Dragon is that our opponent cannot go into the famed Fiendsmith combo since all of their opposing monsters will be considered dragon monsters. This works against a lot of other decks that rely on having a specific type to go into their extra deck as well. This list is mostly taken after our old Milwaukee regional, with the only exception being that the other Fiendsmith monster was legal, so in this case we just apply what most engines run on Master Duel. With Blue Eyes, Tenpai, and Fiendsmith decks posing a weakness to this list, I'd recommend giving it a shot. Trap Trick would be your other route to Prologue, but the next best thing is Daruma Cannon. While flipping all monsters face down is cool, the real benefit is resetting the status of your Buster Dragon so it doesn't get destroyed by Prologue's effect one turn later. I won't bother going into much more though, so let's get into the replays. This first replay is kind of a freebie since we are facing a dragon deck that clearly suffers, but we are going second so things aren't as easy. Dragon Link is slowly seeing some play thanks to the Metal Morph support. Thankfully I know 2 of the biggest threats to Prologue are Borreload Savage and Full Metal. There isn't much I can do with my current hand except pray that Droplets hits as well as I wanted to. Dark Ruler could probably be a fair alternative, but sometimes dumping a dragon or the other Buster Trap can prove beneficial in a tight spot. Since this pattern is an effective monster negate, I decide to drop my Bystial at one of the only times I can, and before he tries to set up a Lubellion combo. Whether it sticks around isn't important as long as we are guaranteed a dragon in the grave. To get the Buster Blader fusion out, we don't need to use any monster effects if we have the trap, so that's another good plus to dodge some boards going second. For some reason my opponent did not go for the route into Borreload Savage with 2 Omni Negates, but even if he had, we can bait it out with Daruma Cannon first thankfully, or just negate with Droplets. Because of this, I know once Buster Dragon and the fusion hit the field it's a done deal, unless some cursed shit like Underworld Goddess hits the field on the following turn. To speak more on the deck, I do know Blue Eyes Buster Blader is probably more popular, but for me it tends to focus more on the Blue Eyes aspect, and my first time trying it just lets a True Light getting destroyed, so I threw that away fast. It also didn't have enough space for Bystials like I've enjoyed, plus certain other spots. Now one of the things to point out with this lock is that Link monsters obviously can attack since they can't be forced to defense mode, but their effects cannot be activated. For some reason every opponent went into SP Little Knight thinking that was the holy solution to their problems, but all it did was make a 1600 attack victim most of the time. Let's enjoy those Buster Blader attack points though while my opponent's time stalls me out of shame. I tried to get replays going second since going first is the easy goal to go for, but let me show how a typical Metal Morph combo will go. Here we don't have a Buster Blader trap, but just imagine if we did, this would be a hell of a first turn. Black Metal Dragon being able to search each time it hits the grave enables this, as you can see, and it is a rather simple combo. Outside of Hierotic Seal getting hit by Call by the Grave, you have a good chance of getting it to summon a Bystial from the deck as the target for max Metal Morph. It has to be a level 5 or higher dragon to summon Full Metal, so don't make the mistake I did on release thinking only the monster type mattered. The monster you are trying to summon has the requirements in its effect, and in a pinch it sometimes isn't a bad idea to tribute Buster Dragon if it's close to leaving the field anyway or has no effect for whatever reason. Our opponent here seemed to have an amazing hand to break past more typical boards, but here we succeeded in the better setup. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, as I think I've said enough. Stay tuned for the next video.